Shalom. Call halal Yahawashi Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And this video is called, it's on the off-grid desert farming with Paul and Adrian. And it's called WW3 or World War III Alert. Russia calls up reserves while NATO sends 2 aircraft carriers, strike groups of Russia. All right. And, you know, it's and then at the same time, you also had AMTV broadcasting how there was the markets all just crashed. So with this and Russia, I'm gonna let a little bit of this video play because the first 7 minutes of it, the guy's reading, you know, from the scriptures about the wheat and the tares and has no clue what that's talking about whatsoever. He's trying to apply that to people who are poor and in need right now. So this guy clearly doesn't understand the scriptures, you know, but he does have it right when he says that World War III is brewing. He definitely has that part. He's on point with that. But let's start. Let me read this. This is from 2 Ezra 9 and verse 1, and it reads, "And he answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." All right. And part of that visitation is making poor people poor, hungry, and some people are going to starve, the famine. All right. And it says, "Then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For it's like all that is made in the world hath a beginning." I missed the part. Let me go back. All right, let me go back. Let me go to verse 3. "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and their crazy weather patterns, storms, floods, tsunamis, tornadoes, earthquakes, uproars of the people, riots, fights against the authorities, insurrections, all that is happening." All right, and at the same time that is happening, you have the conflict between nations that are that's brewing up. All right. And it says, "Then thou shalt understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning, and the end is manifest." All right. So the end is showing itself. So without any further ado, the off-grid farmer.
News media, folks. And New York Prepper did a very good video last night. And what you're about to look at is Russia now has mobilized its reserve army troops. They're calling up their reserves all across Russia. They are heading to the train stations to be loaded up and shipped out somewhere. And you don't call up your reserves in the entire country, folks, unless you're going into a major war. Now, we didn't do this until we went into Desert Storm when we invaded Iraq the first time. We sent over 500,000 soldiers to invade Iraq and take out Saddam Hussein.
Now, mind you that Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11, and Iraq did not have any weapons of mass destruction at all, proven. All right, so there was another agenda as to reason why all those millions of people died, why Iraq was destroyed, why its leader was murdered, and all this money and death came about was to basically line the pockets of big business. Blackwater being one of them. I forget the company that the vice president was vested in, Dick Cheney. The different military companies that built the Bradley tanks and things like that. It had so many other reasons. All right, so it's a proven fact that they were very well aware that Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. All right, so there was the Iraqi people weren't being persecuted and any of that by Saddam Hussein. So just remember that part. All right, as the hammer of the earth went over there to destroy people and spill blood yet again.
We went over there twice, but the first time with General Schwarzkopf, they mobilized 500,000 troops, sent them to Iraq. So Russia's doing the same thing. This is a video of the troops being.
Russia's not doing the same thing. The situations are different. Ukraine is a part of Russia, and Ukraine is full of Russian citizens. So a lot of people in Ukraine actually want to be a part of Russia again. That part, the mainstream media, the Western media, leaves out. You know,
loaded on the trains. These are reserve troops, folks. These are not regular army troops because they are coming in. You can see they have their duffel bags with them, and the wives and the children are kissing their husbands goodbye, maybe for the last time, folks. You know, they have families too. Nobody.
And you know, the Bible does speak of how these soldiers are going to go, you know, and never come home again once they go to the valley of Jehoshaphat. So there's some truth in that. But let me continue in 2 Ezra 9, because this lesson was going to be about something else until, you know, this video was sent to me, until I opened it and the Spirit jumped on me to just, you know, do this real quick. All right, I was actually going to go into these false prophets who are teaching that, you know, that the law is what saves you. All right, and not Yahawashi, discrediting Yahawashi. But nevertheless, that you know, that's a lesson I'll probably do Yahawashi later today or tomorrow. But let's continue. This is 2 Ezra 9 and 6, and it reads, "Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs." All right, and you know, and in Matthew the 24th chapter, I believe it's Matthew 24, the Lord completely tells you, you know, about the signs and the things that will be happening in the earth, in the world, and all those things are happening. There's so much political turmoil, all right, so much infighting within all governments. You know, it's like even the alliances are all on the verge of breaking up, even as they're on the verge of going to war against their common enemies, but they have issues among themselves. The same thing happened here in Babylon. You know, the one you got, you know, the great eagle, this hateful, wicked bird, but both his wings are at each other. You know, both of the right and the left wing. But you have to understand, those wings are attached to the same hateful bird. So it's all going to come to naught. All right. Matter of fact, let me jump to Mark real quick, and then I go back to Ezra's 3 and 24, I believe. 24 through 26. Right, and it says, "And if a kingdom be divided against itself, and that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand." So the kingdom, this whole these current mountains and hills that are joined together, mountains and hills in the Bible represent countries and power structures. Okay, and then of course the house is representation of a people. And this NATO, this beast system, which America is the whore that sits upon the beast, it's, you know, it's made up of a whole bunch of nations, but it's ran and controlled by the Idumeans. All right, so it's their house. It's talking about their race, their stock, their breed. Okay, and it says, "And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand." The evidence of that is the house of Jacob, the house of Israel. All right, the northern kingdom separated from the southern kingdom, and we fell, and we've been on the bottom ever since. All right, and it says, "And if Satan rise up against himself, the adversary," who's adverse to everything in the Bible, you know, these Idumeans. All right, and it says, "And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end." All right, so that end is manifest, man. Let's go back to Ezra, the 9th chapter. I think we were at verse 8. Actually, we were at verse 6. And it says, I'll just read it again. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs, and every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works, by faith, whereby ye have believed. See, that leads back to the lesson I was originally going to do, because it's the faith that's going to save you, not the works, man. All right, you have to do your works. It says you want to make your election sure by studying, praying, and doing the works, doing all the things you're supposed to do as a man of the Lord or a believer of the Lord. All right, but it's not eating pork. It's not the not committing adultery. It's not the not lying, stealing, cheating. And then when I say cheating, I mean like in a form of stealing, not a man cheating on a woman. That's really, a man can have another wife or other women. That's. But anyway, it's not the keeping of the law that will get you delivered. It's the keeping of the law to the best of your ability, because it tells you clearly that in Hebrews that we could not keep the law. All right, we couldn't keep the law. We failed at that, and that's why the Lord is we're only going to keep the law perfect once we're changed. So you have to keep it to the best of your ability, and most importantly, believe on Yahawashi. So you can't take Yahawashi out of the picture. All right, so this led into the next lesson anyway. So Yahweh Ratazah, I'm gonna do that later on today. But let me finish up this second Ezra 9:9. It says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and have cast them away despitefully, shall dwell in torments." All right, so they're gonna dwell in torments, man. They're gonna die horrible deaths and suffer before that death comes. All right, and there's no way around. There's no way around it. That is exactly what's going to happen. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem Rakar Kadash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.